Hello guys, welcome to Data Warriors channel. This tutorial we are going to learn about truncate versus delete. This is one of the important interview question which will be asked in the SQL interviews. Let's try to understand it with help of one scenario. If you have 1 million of rows and you need to delete all of them at a time, what will you use? Delete or truncate? We have these two options, truncate or delete, two options. So which we are going to use to delete 1 million of rows at a time? Choose the wrong one and your circle will hang for 2 hours. Okay, so but after this video you will never make that mistake again. Let's clear it in 5 minutes. Let's go. What is the delete statement, guys? How we can write that? If I have to delete the students whose marks are less than 35 in the students table, how we will do? Delete from table name students where marks less than 35. Okay, so what this will do? Delete from students table whose marks are less than 35. First we will check the count of records there in the students table. How? Select count of hashtag from students. Before that we have to select our default database as use demo. Okay, now first we will verify how many total records are there in the students table. Select count star from students. Let me execute. Total 500 records are there in the students table. So what delete does? Delete is used to remove the records from the table. So what I am doing, I am deleting the records from the students table whose marks are less than 35. We will select this and let me execute. Yes, execution is successful. It is giving 50 rows affected. Then we will verify it with help of count from students. Let's check the count and verify. Yes, earlier count was 500. Now 450 records are there in the students table. Okay, so this way we can delete the records. Three important key points to consider about delete. You can use where clause while deleting the data, so you can delete the specific rows. Delete statement is safe because you can roll back if you made a mistake inside a transaction. Means rollback means you can revert back the changes. So this rollback thing we are going to see as part of our upcoming tutorials. Then third point is, but it's slow because it logs every single row that gets deleted. Now comes to truncate. So what truncate statement does, guys? It is also used to delete the records from the table. We can't use where clause with the truncate statement. So how? Truncate? What is the syntax? Truncate table, and then table name you have to provide students. So this way you have to write a truncate syntax. Truncate table name will be students. Let me execute this. Okay, now verify how many records are there. Zero. All records gone within a 1 second, guys. Truncated is very fast. It removes all records from the table. We cannot use where condition with the truncate table. Three important points to consider about the truncate statement. So we have used truncate table students, and then we have verified the counts. It was coming zero because truncate removes all the records. 3 points to remember about the truncate statement. It deletes the entire table at once. You cannot use where clause. And then it extremely fast, guys, because it drops the table and recreates it. Okay, and then this is a dangerous. Truncate is a dangerous. You cannot roll back. Also auto increment. If any auto increment we have set, that also resets to 1. Truncate is equal to nuclear bomb, guys. It is not safe operation, guys. If you have to do record separately, then you can use for delete. The next thing we will see, guys, difference between truncate and delete. Okay, so this is the most important thing, guys, truncate versus delete. So what is syntax of truncate statement, guys? Truncate table name you have to give, and then for the delete from table name, and then where condition you have to specify. Okay, next thing, where clause. Are we able to use a where clause in the truncate statement? No, guys. And in delete statement, can we use a where clause? Yes. In terms of speed, which operation is fast? Truncate, very fast, and then delete is slow compared to the truncate. Then in terms of rollback, is it can we do rollback after using a truncate? Not possible. And then in terms of delete, when we are using delete statement to delete the records, rollback is possible if we have to revert back the changes. Okay, now we will understand use cases, guys. When we have to use a truncate, when we have to delete the entire table data, and when we can use this delete command, guys, delete statement, for deleting the specific records from the table or specific rows from the table. Okay, so finally the conclusion is that, guys, if you need to delete the specific data, use delete statement. If you need to empty the entire table, use truncate statement. This real life example of truncate statement is that, guys, whenever uh, you are going working in the like real example, that time if you have staging a raw table where you are loading data as it is, which is coming from the source, that time you can use a truncate table statement to delete previous data and load the new data. And this delete, where you are going to delete the data whenever you have data for the testing, and if some bad data is there and that you have to delete some bad data, then you can use delete with the where clause to delete the specific rows from a table, guys. Okay, thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next session.